Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All go to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our evening Bhagavad Gita class by Srila Prabhupada called Srila Prabhupada Says. This evening we will continue with Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verses 15, and it's a class by Srila Prabhupada. So I request devotees to please increase your volume if you need to hear a little bit more of the recording. And if we can all take away one takeaway from the class that we can share and discuss at the end of the class. Without further delay, we will go right into the class. Hare Krishna.
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Pondram Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodara Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Pondrang Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodara Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Pondrang Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodara
All right. What meaning?
Panchajanyam, the conch shell named Panchajanya. Rishikesha, Krishna, the Lord who directs the senses of the devotees. Devadattam, the conch shell named Devadatta. Dhananjaya, Arjuna, the winner of wealth. Pondrang, the conch shell named Pondrang. Dadmo, blue. Mahashankam, the terrific conch shell. Bhima Karma, one who performs Herculean tasks. Vrikodara, the voracious eater. Bhima. Translation: Then Lord Krishna blew his conch shell, named Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell named Pondram.
So, Vrikodara, Bhimasen, is advertised as voracious eater. But he can perform Herculean tasks also. He, just like the elephant, it eats voraciously, but it gives service also. Similarly, if we simply eat voraciously and we cannot give any service, that is not good. We must eat sumptuously and give service also. In Bengali it is said that pete khele pite soy. If one is given sufficient food in the belly, he can carry more burden on the back. So, Bhima Karma, his activities are very Herculean, very, very difficult tasks he performed. So everyone is named here with his task. The first name is Krishna Rishikesha. Rishikesha. He is the master of the senses. Govinda. Go means senses. Who gives pleasure to these senses. So, Krishna has got many names, thousands, out of which the Krishna name is chief, Mukha. That is described in Vedic literature. People say God has no name. That is right. He has no particular fixed name, but his names are there according to his different activities. Just like his name is Devaki Nandan. Because he accepted Devaki as his mother, therefore he is called Devaki Nandan. Similarly, he is called Nandanandan, Jasodanandan, Brajendanandan. In relationship with Nanda Maharaj, Jasoda, his foster father and mother. Similarly, he is sometimes named Parthasarathi because he acted as the chariot driver of Arjun. Arjun's name is Partha. His mother's name is Pritha, Kunti's. From Pritha, his name is Partha. From his father's name, Pandu, his name is Pandava. So in this way, big personalities or anyone, they should tally. The name should tally with the activities. This is nomenclature. According to Vedic civilization, after the birth of the child, there was name-giving ceremony. What kind of name? So that was calculated astrologically, what kind of name he should be given. Because the name should carry some meaning of the activities of his life. So, Krishna is named here Rishikesha. Rishikesha, Krishna, in the 15th chapter is described that he gives direction to everyone. Sarvasya chaham ridishan nibishtya. I am sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Realization of the absolute truth are three features: Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tatyam jad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdati. Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan, the same object. So the Brahma realization is impersonal realization. Just like the sun globe and the sunshine, they are one. But the sunshine, realization of the sunshine is not realization of the sun globe. Or realization of the sun globe is not realization of the sun God who is within the sun globe. Vibhashan, his name is Vibhashan, the present predominating deity in the sun planet. His name is Vibhashan, and his son Manu is called Vaivasata Manu. This is the age of Vaivasata Manu. So, this is very nice example that the sunshine, the sun globe and the sun god, they are all one. But still, the sun globe is not the person sun god, neither the sunshine is not the person, although they are one. This is called achinta vidave tattva. Inconceivably, one and different simultaneously. So Brahma realization is also God's realization, but it is partial. The Supreme Lord is Satchitananda Vigraha. He is person. But he is not a person like us. He is Satchitananda Vigraha. Ishara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means person. So, he is person, Bhagavan. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Sabdati. Three features, realization of the Absolute. The first realization, imperfect realization, is impersonal Brahma. Further advanced realization, Paramatma realization. And ultimate realization, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. These are the three stages. So, when he is Rishikesha, it is his Paramatma feature, as it is stated in the Bhagavad. Ishara sarvabhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati. Brahman sarvabhutani jantra rudhani maya. Ishara, the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Ishara means the Supreme, Ishara means controller. But the Supreme Controller is Krishna. Ishara Parama Krishna. Controller every one of us, we are controller. We controller our family, our society, our business, our factory. There are different kinds of controller. So in that sense, everyone is Ishara, but different types of Ishara. But the Supreme Ishara, Supreme means nobody controls him, but he controls everyone. That is Supreme. Here we are controller, but we are also controlled. Somebody else, superior than me. Therefore we cannot be called Supreme Controller. Supreme Controller is Krishna. When Krishna is present on this planet, nobody could control Krishna, but he controlled everyone. Nobody could control Krishna. Therefore, the great saintly persons, even Brahma, they have decided that Ishara Parama Krishna, the Supreme Controller is Krishna. He controls even Brahma. Adikavaye, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Rida Adikavaye. Tene, he instructed Brahma, Sabda Brahma, Vedic knowledge, Rida, through heart. That is Rishikesh. You can argue that Brahma was the first creature within this universe. How he could be instructed by somebody else? No, the somebody else is always there within the heart. Rishikesh. Rishikesh means controller. Sarvasya chaham, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya, in the 15th chapter, Sarvasya chaham vriddhi sannivishya. I am sitting in everyone's heart. Matta smriti jnanam apohanancha. From me, one remembers and one forgets also. Forgets all. If you want to forget Krishna, so Krishna will give you such intelligence that you will forget him forever. Jijathamang prapaddante, tang satriyo bhajamaham. So the atheist class, demon class, they want to forget Krishna. So Krishna gives him such intelligence that he can speak of atheism so many volumes. But he is getting that intelligence from Krishna. Krishna gives everyone the chance. So whatever you want to do, you can do. I will give you intelligence. So if you want to become atheist, then I will give you intelligence. How to become first-class atheist, like Hiranyakasipu, Ravan, Kamsa. And if you want to become devotee, then I will give you intelligence also, in that way. Buddhiju gang dadamitam jena mam upajantite. Tesham nityavijuktanang bhajatang pritipurvakam. Anyone who is engaged in his service with love and affection, tesham, not all, because not everyone wants to serve him. Everyone wants to become God. Imitation. Therefore they say, why Krishna shall be alone God? I am God. You are God, that's all right. But you are not the supreme God. Why you forget that? Above you, you may be God at home of your wife, but when you go to your office, you are not God, your master is God. He directs you to do something, you have to do it. So, we may claim that every one of us we are God, but nobody can claim that we are supreme, I am supreme God. That is not possible. That Krishna can claim only. Matta paratarang nanya kinchijasti dhananjaya. My dear Dhananjaya, there is no more superior personality than me. And he proved it. So, God cannot be manufactured. God is God. Krishna, when he was 3 months old, on the lap of his mother, still he was God. He could kill the Putana. So, God cannot be manufactured by so-called meditation and mystic power. You can get some of the insignificant powers of God, but you do not know how much powerful is God, that you do not know. Therefore, when a person gets little power, he thinks that he has become God. He does not know how much powerful God is. Therefore, Shastra says that you may be God in your own atmosphere, in your own jurisdiction. You may think that you are God. Everyone thinks like that. But the Supreme God is Krishna. Eka jo bahunam vidadhati kama. In the Upanishad it is said that God is also a person like me, you. Nitya nityanam, chetana chetananam. But his personality is different from your personality, from my personality. What is that difference? The eko jo bahunam vidadhati kaman. He supplies all the necessities of all other personalities. That is the difference. God is supplying us food. This conception is there in the Bible. God give us our daily bread. This is nice. Accepting that we are getting all supplies from God. This is Sukriti, this is Punnavan. If anyone says, what God? We are creating our own food, just like the communist says. They are Duskritina, rascals. But if anyone even goes to the church and temple for asking something to God, he is pious. At least he has approached God. So one day, when he will be advanced devotee, he will not ask anyone. He knows, no, why shall I bother God? He is supplying everyone food, so why shall I ask him food? My food is also there. Let me serve me. That is higher intelligence. Then why shall I ask food from God? God is supplying food to the cats, dogs, ants, elephants, and I want little food, he will not supply me. And especially when I engage myself in his service, ordinary man pays to his servant, and I shall starve if I am engaged in the service of God. This is intelligence. This is intelligence. Why shall I bother God? If he likes, I will starve. That doesn't matter. But I must engage myself in the service of the law. This is intelligence. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mang prapaddate. This intelligence comes after many, many births of endeavoring for self-realization. It is not easily comes. So there is no question of scarcity for devotee. Just like this morning, I was discussing with this gentleman. A devotee is not in need of everything. Why he should be? He cannot be. Even one who is not devotee, if he is getting supplies from God, how is it that the devotee will not get? Just like the government. The government, although there is prison house, the government supplies the food. Not that because they have gone to the prison house, they are starving. Rather, those who are unemployed, they prefer prison house, that without any service they will get free food. So anyone within this material world, they are prisoners. Brahman jantru rani mayaya Ishara sarvabhutanam riddesha arjuna tishtati. Ishara, the Supreme Lord, Krishna, as Rishikesh, he is sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma and he is guiding. This is confirmed in the Vedas that two birds are sitting on one tree. These two birds, one is Krishna and another living entity, Paramatma and Jivatma. The Jivatma is eating the fruit and Paramatma is simply becoming witness. Anumantya, upodrashtya. Paramatma is saying, Rishikesh is saying that you are doing this. So we may forget what nuisance we had done in our last life, but Paramatma is there, witness. You have to get a body according to your work. Karmana daiva netrena. You are working, that is being witnessed by the Paramatma. And he is also giving advice, because we have forgotten Krishna, we have rebelled against Krishna. We want to act according to our whims. Just like a child wants to do something according to his whims. Father checks him, my dear child, do not do this. But if he likes, if he persists, father says, all right, you do it. This is the position. The Rishikesh, Paramatma, he is always guiding us, but we do not accept his guidance. This is our position. Arjuna has accepted Krishna, that I shall be guided by you, although you will not fight. Therefore here it is said, Rishikesh is guiding Arjuna. The Rishik means the senses. Rishika, Isha. Isha means Lord, Master. Ishara or Isha. So Rishikesha. Actually he is the master of the senses. And in the Bhagavad Gita you'll find, in the 11th chapter it says, Sarvato upanipadasti. God has his hands and legs all over the universe. What is that? This is our hand, our legs. This is God's hand, God's leg. He is the master. I am claiming this is my hand. But as soon as God withdraws the power of your hand, it is paralyzed. You cannot repair. Therefore the real proprietor is Krishna. You are not proprietor. You have been given the facility to use it. Use it not for your sense gratification, but for the satisfaction of the Lord. Then your life is perfect. because the things belongs to Krishna. He is Rishikesh. He is the master. Just like we are sitting in this house, but somebody has given us. Similarly, everything belongs to God. This is self-realization. My body belongs to God, my mind belongs to God, my intelligence belongs to God. I am spirit, soul, I am part and parcel of God. Therefore everything belongs. Ishavāsamidam sarvam. Everything belongs to God. So if you don't use it for God, that is called demonism. And if you use it for God, that is devotion. That's all. One must realize that everything belongs to God. Nothing belongs to me. Even this body is given to me by God. Why different body? The different body is God gives us different body according to our karma. That is explained. Karmana daivanetrena jantar deha upavatti. How we get a different type of body? We have got different types of body. Because according to our past karma, we have created a certain type of body, and now we have entered into this body and working according to past karma. The Christian theologians, they do not believe in the karma. I was a student in Christian college, Scottish Churches College. So in our younger days, the professor, Dr. W.S. Arkwood, so I heard his lecture, that he did not believe in the karmas. He said that if I am suffering and enjoying for my last karma, who is the witness? Because some witness must be there that I have done this. But at that time we are not very expert. But this Rishikesh is the witness. Anumantya, upadrashtya. Upadrashta is simply seeing. So the Christians, they have no Paramatma idea. Sometimes they say Holy Ghost, and a clear idea. But this Rishikesh is clear idea. Rishikesha, Rishika Isha. So this bhakti, devotional path is meant for satisfying the master of the senses. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchat. Rishikena, by your senses, when you serve the Rishikesha, the master of the senses, that is called bhakti. This is the definition of bhakti. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchat. Narad Pancharat. So, that is our business. We should understand that is self-realization. Ishavāsamidam sarva. Everything belongs to God. Nothing belongs to us. This is Bhagavad communism. As the communists, they say everything belongs to the state. We say everything belongs to God. We never say that anything belongs to anyone. No. This is Bhagavad communism. So everything belongs to God. So one can utilize God's property as much as he requires, not more than that. Then he will be thief, he will be punishable. Just like father's property. Each and every son has got the right to live at the father's protection. Ma gidhakkasya dhanam. That is spiritual communism. Whatever wealth is there within this universe, all belong to God. And we are as sons of God. We have got right to take advantage of this wealth, but not more than what I require. That's all. This is spiritual communism. If you take more, then you become punishable. This is the law of nature. Therefore, our aim of life should be to understand that everything, to know, this is self-realization, that everything belongs to God, nothing belongs to us. This is self-realization. I also belong to God. Mind is body, made of 5 elements, gross body, bhumi, rapa, nala, vayu, earth, water, fire, air, sky. This is gross body. And subtle body, khamano, buddhi, mind, intelligence, ego. These 8. Krishna says, bhinna me prakriti ashtadha. These 8 kinds of prakriti, they are my energy. They are my energy. So this whole universe is creation of Krishna's material energy. We are marginal energy of Krishna. So we are now put into this material energy because we wanted to enjoy this material world. In the spiritual world, the only enjoyer is Krishna. Either in spiritual or material world, he is the only enjoyer. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram jagatavasam sarvaloka maheswaram. I am the enjoyer. So this is to be understood, that he is the supreme enjoyer. He is also enjoyer of my energy, because my energy is derived from Krishna's energy. Just like master and servant. The master is paying him food, anything for comforts. He is getting energy. So how the energy should be utilized? For the master, not for his sense gratification. This is perfection of life. You produce anything by your energy, but you cannot use it for your sense gratification. Then you become perfect. And if you want to do it, then Rishikesha, the master of the senses, will give you intelligence. How to do it. Just like he is giving Arjuna intelligence. Therefore he is mentioned as Rishikesha. How to win victory, how to utilize his energy for Krishna. Krishna wanted the battle. Arjuna was a military man. He utilized his military strength for Krishna's purpose. That is the perfection of life. So whatever you have got, if you utilize it for Krishna's sake, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, bhakti, that is bhakti. Even by fighting, you can be a great devotee, just like Arjuna. He was not chanting on the beads, but he was fighting. But still, bhaktosi priyosi me, Krishna says. You are my great devotee. Now people may say that he was not chanting, he was fighting. How he became a great devotee? But Krishna says, bhaktosi priyosi me, you are my dear friend. You are my devotee. Because you are utilizing your energy for me. So bhakti means you utilize your energy for Krishna, then your life is perfect. Thank you very much.
Oh, we heard the amazing words from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So if anyone has any takeaways or any comments you'd like to say, please do. Unmute yourself.
Am I audible? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Vrinda. Manoharini. One of these points that I really liked that Srila Prabhupada mentioned several times was he used the word intelligence many times. And there was one point in the lecture where Srila Prabhupada said that using intelligence in service to the Lord is devotion. I've heard phrases, comments, statements by Srila Prabhupada when we use our intelligence in Krishna consciousness, that is intelligence. But the way Srila Prabhupada put the two together, using our intelligence in service to Krishna is devotion. I really liked that angle of how he came. Was very powerful for me. That was one of my takeaways that I was reflecting on. Wow, it's really amazing how Srila Prabhupada put intelligence and devotion together in service to the Lord. So that was one of my takeaways. Would like to ask devotees, if you have other takeaways that you have gotten from the class, please do unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand and Manoharini will call upon you. It's nice to see more devotees on class this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, but would like to hear more feedback. So please do unmute yourself. Anyone has any takeaways? Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Pranam. Wonderful, wonderful. Prabhupada's lectures are nectar. I like the point, that I think last moment around the end, Prabhupada mentioned, we should not use our energy for sense gratification. We should utilize in Krishna consciousness. I like that point very much.
That was a nice point, yes. He talked a lot about intelligence. He talked about our energy. Yeah, really, really amazing point.
Right, yeah. Thank you.
That was, yeah, he talked quite a bit about how to use our energy, how to not be the controller. There was one point where he says, that we think we are the controllers, but then we forget that we are being controlled.
Right, we are minute controller.
Yes. So that was a good point also by Srila Prabhupada, how we have to use all our energies in service to the Lord. Yes. Thank you for sharing that takeaway. Nice point, Gopal Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Anyone else has a point to share with us that we all can learn and benefit from?
That in the spiritual world, Hare Krishna, this is break to that. In the spiritual world, Krishna is the only enjoyer. Isha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So he's the only enjoyer, and we are enjoyed and we serve. Sometimes, sitting in the material world, we want to be enjoyers. So when we hear that, so we go to the spiritual world, we don't get to enjoy. Only Krishna is the enjoyer. But we have to understand that the soul is Satchidananda. The soul is Ananda, is always in bliss. So being in bliss means that service is very wonderful. Even though we're servants, but we serve, it's so much happiness and so much is available and so much is easy. It's very easy living. And it's eternal living. So yes, he is the one in control of everything because everything came from him. So naturally, he should be the one in control. But as tiny parts and parcels of a Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are actually quite happy serving him. So hopefully we won't make the mistake of thinking that we want to be at his level again and come back to the material world. Maybe this is our last, now that we understand it that way, go back to the spiritual world and serve him, and more importantly, accept our positions as just tiny parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we'll be very happy in serving him. Hare Krishna.
That was a nice point. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, amazing. Actually, as you were speaking, sharing the point about Krishna is the controller and we are being controlled, I was remembering a nice point that Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the class that I was just reading this afternoon, and it's amazing that it came up in the class this evening, where Srila Prabhupada was saying that even if even if we want to forget the Lord, Krishna will make the arrangement for us to forget him. And I was like, whoa, but I remember reading in the class, one of the notes somewhere this afternoon, that same thing that Srila Prabhupada said, that because love cannot be forced. and has to come from the heart. So even if you want to forget the Lord will allow that to happen because it's free will. It's free will. So I was really thinking, whoa, that's pretty scary, actually, to actually think that we don't want so much to do with the Lord, or we don't want to remember Him, or we're too busy to remember Him. That was pretty scary. And of course, hearing from Srila Prabhupada puts a little more fear in me. So that was really powerful. So that was my other takeaway too. So, yeah, thank you. Anyone else?
That's because you're a devotee, so you don't forget about Krishna because you know you've lost everything if you forget about Krishna. Krishna allows you to forget Him. But this is what the materialists are doing. They'll tell you there's no God. God is there. They just have taken the decision to forget about God in their lives. And that's why they go through this whole thing of birth, death, another birth, another death, another birth, another death, and karmic situations. And it's a suffering condition every time in the material world, from Brahmaloka down to Patalaloka. It's all places of suffering, different levels of suffering, different kinds of suffering. But that's what the non-devotees are about. They don't want to deal with God. And so a real devotee doesn't want to forget about God at all. I mean, everything is falling apart then, for him or her, if Krishna is not in their life anymore. That's very difficult to deal with it. Life won't be the same with us. That's a devotee's thought, and that's a good thought. That would always make sure that Krishna keeps that particular devotee in his refuge, because that person wants to remember the Lord all the time.
Thank you. I think I heard someone trying to say something. Manoharini, can you make sure, because I'm on the phone, so I can't see any hands raised. Can you monitor?
Swarna Gauranga Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mother. This is Swarna Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, Swarna Gauranga.
Yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful lecture. I don't know how Prabhupada gets on those verses, all these things, but amazing. Those verses doesn't have this much content in there, but Prabhupada actually, it's amazing, amazing. Prabhupada at one point he explains about who is the top class devotee. So he's talking about the materialistic people. They just expect something from somebody, and the similar way the karmic people, they expect from Krishna the materialistic things. But then he talks about the devotee, because devotee has intelligence. He know that when Krishna is giving to everyone, I am also getting it. So I don't have to ask for it. So what devotee do is, how can I serve him? So which is the how to surrender to Krishna is always thinking about him and how to serve him, not how to get something from him. So that's pretty amazing point Srila Prabhupada actually mentioned. It's a very straightforward language, but it has so much into it, right? So it's in Hindi there is a phrase called Gagar mein Sagar. That means you're putting the whole ocean into the one small pot, right? So
It's
sounds
amazing.
but it's amazing.
Amazing. And also, if you see the translation, it's about the conch shell, right, of Panchajanya,
Yeah.
and then you see Prabhupada took it to a whole different level.
There's a completely different perspective, right? So that verse, if you look at it, it doesn't look like it's something telling about the bhakti, but when Prabhupada explains about it, it's like topmost bhakti Prabhupada is talking about. So it's amazing, amazing.
Amazing.
Hare Krishna.
It is.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such a wonderful sharing. Absolutely. And the more and more we hear Prabhupada, the more we get so attached to it. We learn so much of how, Prabhupada being so magnanimous and, really out of this world. That's why Prabhupada is definitely the ambassador of this world in Krishna consciousness. So thank you for the sharing, Swarna Gauranga. Thank you.
That's one more thing, right? So whenever we get some time, because of maybe the wrong association or the workload, I don't know, but we get into this materialistic world and we start thinking about the materialistic things, then we should probably hear these lectures and then understand, okay, we are devotees. We are here to serve Krishna, not for asking something for the materialistic desire. So that is amazing. Like every time we should, that's why hearing is more important. Always hear Prabhupada now and then, like even 5 minutes you hear him, you will get the enlightenment. Hare Krishna.
Amazing. Hearing is so much important. I agreed. I mean, and that's why Prabhupada says, Srila Rupa Goswami says in Next of Instructions, is Shravanam first, and the more we hear, it's like, wow. And especially to hear from Prabhupada is like amazing. So, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Swarna Garanga. Thank you. Anyone else have a takeaway?
Hi Krishna, this is Kabir. It was very nice to listen to the Bhagavad Gita from Prabhupada ji.
I agree. Yes, it's really nice. It's really nice. Yes, I'm glad you were able to join. Thank you so much for being part of the classes too, Sangeeta. Thank you. Anyone else have a takeaway? Manoharini, can you see on your side since you have the screen on?
So far, no one's unmuted.
Okay, great. And if there's no questions or comments or takeaways, we thank you all so much for joining, and we hope to see more of all of you in the upcoming week. It's really, really important that we all come together and hear the classes together and never forget the hearing, because the more we hear, we'll never get tired of it, And we hope to see and we'll continue the classes next week. So until then, Panchuka Priviyascha, Kripa Sindhubevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Have a wonderful evening and wonderful weekend, devotees. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna.